What's up, everybody? So let's talk about Monique and her daddy. Y'all know who her daddy is, honey. Sydney, her husband. So y'all know I made a video earlier of Monique's son Shalon coming out and basically saying that Monique was not a good mother, that they did not have a relationship, they do not talk, and that Monique will not take accountability for her actions. She will not take accountability and admit that she was not a good mother. And so y'all know that Monique and her daddy, Sydney, was going to make a video about this. And so they did come out and they spoke out about Shalon. And in my opinion, they made it seem like it was about the money. I think it went over their heads or whatever, because in the video that Shalon put out, he said besides the material things, Monique was not a good mother. He did acknowledge that Monique did things for him, but other than that, she was not a good mother. And truth be told, it probably did not go over their heads. It's probably the fact that they don't want to go into more details about the situation because they are leaving some things out about this whole situation, right? And they probably don't want to come out and tell the full truth because it will probably make them look bad. They also addressed the fact that they wanted Shalon to call Sydney uncle and that they did not want Shalon to call Sydney daddy. They said that because Shalon already had a daddy, then Sydney is uncle and Shalon is nephew. Weird, right? Yeah, it's quite weird. But hey, that's what they talked about in the video, right? They also talked about other stuff in the video. So they first addressed Shalon and then they go on and they started addressing other stuff and then they go back to Shalon. So I will piece those clips together in this video. So let's listen to what Sydney and Monique has to say. And one thing y'all can say is that Sydney gonna have Monique's back. Okay? Daddy gonna beat her for real. Because, and I see why she wants this man to be there, because if you listen to him, this man has the gift of gab. I'm not gonna lie to you. This man probably can con a man out of his whole check, probably can con a woman out of her panties, because he has the gift of gab. So let's watch this video.
The title of our conversation, or the theme of it, is called The Long Way Around, because ain't no shortcuts. Pickles, stop playing with that paper, please. The reason we're having it is a multitude of reasons, but we're going to start off with, there was a Instagram that was put up, or I guess
it was TikTok, baby.
TikTok that was put up by
my son, my oldest son, Shalon. And this is what I want to say to this. There are some people that are saying, oh, you should be ashamed of your mothering skills. You should be ashamed of yourself. This is what I'll say. Let's let it play out. Because the same ones that said to me I was crazy, I was deranged, we watched it play out. So just like with my son, we'll watch this play out. And I do want to address this though, Shalon. When you say her daddy, then that's when mommy gonna say stop playing, because you know this has been Uncle Sid your whole life. Uncle Sid knew you before you knew you. So for you to say her 3 sons, yes, you're absolutely right. He has 3 sons. He can't claim you as his son because he's always been Uncle Sid, and he knows your daddy very well.
And love that brother. And the irony of all of this is not what is said, but what's left off.
Yes.
See, you're leaving off the fact that the last time we laid eyes on you, your mother got you everything you needed for the newborn baby about 3 years ago. You're forgetting about how I, from Georgia, am talking you through getting your car after we gave you the half of the down payment for it, and you were 31 years of age, 32 years of age at that point, and I'm negotiating the deal with the dealer for you as you sit there. And you have the vehicle you're driving right now because of your mother. These are the things that you're leaving out when you're expressing what you're expressing in reference to your mother. You're not expressing the relationship that you have with your father, where you spoke ill to him, not to mention spoke ill to your mother, but somehow your mother and father and I all have a loving relationship and communicate back and forth because of the love that we have for you. The one thing these individuals, and to the individuals out here that oftentimes speak after they've heard one side of the story, there's an old saying: believe half of what you see and none of what it is that you hear. Please don't take our word for it, but what we will convey is this. Those who are parents and have raised their parents up to being adults.
The children. Raise their children up to being adults.
Right on. Those who are parents that raise their children into adulthood know that there comes a time and a place in which they determine their own decisions, their own path. You can have multiple children that are raised in one house, but they act and they take on different things. The reason why it was so important for us to entertain these conversations that we typically have privately, or that we're influenced to have privately amongst the people in our community, is because we need to stop being embarrassed about being human beings and about being black human beings. You will oftentimes hear us saying we are embarrassing ourselves in front of them. Who is them?
Who are they?
Because when you hear someone articulate these things, that is the slave's mentality. It makes us believe that we as black people need to conduct ourselves with dignity because white people are watching. You should conduct yourself with dignity because the spirit of you is watching.
Come on.
But we need to have these conversations out loud and taboo because we have a finite period of time together here on this earth. You will travel through infinity with the spirit that you have all alone, and you will not remember the ridicule that you receive, but you will be judging yourself. You will be determining for the rest of your life which way that you go as you have thus far. So this conversation is about speaking directly to what situations are. And many people oftentimes, when they are presented with an issue, they stay quiet, they hide, they disappear. And what we're saying is that's not who we are, because what you cannot do is you cannot trick an honest person.
Come on.
You can demean, you can say whatever you want to say about them negatively, but what will happen is truth has a way of standing the test of time. I forgot to have my phone to read the last text message that I gave to you, Shalon, where I told you about the understanding of how you are speaking to a woman and how you as a man and how you perceive things may be completely different from how your wife, how your mother, how your sister, how your daughter will look at things. And when you learn how to communicate a little bit better, then things will happen a little bit better. You, young man, because of the challenges that this young brother has had with mental illness. So we're communicating that out loud to speak to our community, to say, listen, y'all, if we have more public conversations, there will be less private angst.
Come on.
There will be less private issues that we carry on because we're afraid to communicate in front of white folks, In the words of our great ancestor, Bob Marley, some people are so poor, all they have is money.
Come on.
Don't be that.
Come on.
Don't be that.
I'm sorry to be chocolate. When I hear you, when I hear my son, when I hear you, Shalon, talk about money and stuff, it's like, baby, as I told you when you were younger, I told you as a man, don't let nobody introduce you to me. You know who your mama is.
And when folks speak in reference to calling your seed, sometimes, especially when your seed decided to call things off with you because you didn't move for a 34-year-old, 32-year-old man in the time that he wanted to do, because you as a mother, you as an entertainer, you as an actress, you as a grandmother, you as a wife, allotted the time to see him, but he pushed you away. But then when it's time for him and it doesn't work for you, now it's a problem. Listen, it comes a point in time where when you become a man, when you become a woman, it is your obligation to do for you. To do for you. At 31, brother, 32, I'm sitting there on a conversation at the behest of your mother. Why? For you. Because I love my nephew. And we still love you, Shalom. That's why your mother and your father interact with one another, to let them be aware of what's happening with you. So if you think you're not loved, that's because you're not paying attention. And there are other dynamics that fall into play in which we completely understand. And for you too, we're going to keep the light on for you. But I find it extremely ironic that the last time you saw me, you wanted to be able to call me dad. And I couldn't allow you to call me dad because there's only one dad in your life. And he's a friend of ours.
Come on.
He's a friend of ours. So, again, we as people of color, let us stop being embarrassed about having conversations out loud, because you never know who you could be helping. Please do not allow people to embarrass you out of life. I don't care if you're in the LGBTQ community. I don't care if you want to change your profession. I don't care. Whatever it is that you want to do, we have a finite amount of time to live on this plane. Please do not live on this plane based upon the ridicule you may or may not receive from someone else. Be your authentic self, because you're going to travel eternally by yourself. You can.
Okay, so y'all saw that video, and a lot of people were like, Sydney, how can you even speak about Shalon when you don't even claim Shalon as your son? That is your nephew. So you should not be speaking. Monique should have been speaking the whole time. But y'all know that Sydney is Monique's mouthpiece, right? And I don't feel like they still took full accountability for what happened. Now, Sydney did state that Monique was, in so many words, busy. She had all these roles, and that she still tried to set time aside for Shalon, but Shalon was the one who pushed her away. They did mention that he was mentally ill, so he may have been going through some kind of mental episodes, and Monique was not there for him, and he really wanted her and needed her, and she wasn't there. Or he could have been acting out because he wanted her to be there and she just was not. Some kids act out like that to get the attention from the person they want attention from, right? So he probably was acting out so he can get some attention, and he still did not get the attention he wanted and needed from Monique. They kept on mentioning money, but I don't think it was really about the money. I really just think that Shalon wanted Monique to be around more because, you know, she was busy. She had to bring home that money. She had to bring home the duckies to take care of them kids, right? And so I think that's really what he wanted. He just wanted her to be there, and she was not there. Well, that concludes my commentary. I really don't have too much more to say about this situation, but what do y'all got to say about this situation? Y'all know what y'all got to do. Comment down below. Let me know your thoughts. If you're new to my channel, make sure you subscribe to my channel, share this video, like this video, and y'all know what y'all got to do. Stay tuned for the next video. Bye.